Call to order the Siloam Springs Board of Directors meeting for September 16th, 2025. Roll call.
Blair.
Here.
Burns.
Here.
Wiles.
Here.
Hunt.
Here.
Rissler.
Here.
Allen.
Here.
Carroll.
Here.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to ask that everyone please stand as Director Hunt leads us in prayer, and please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, I just thank you that you have given us the opportunity to gather together for the sake of this city and for the sake of the citizens within the city. And I just pray that you be involved in the discussion, that you help us to really be able to listen to each other and make decisions, glorify you, and are just the best for our city. With us as we continue through this meeting.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, I would like to ask if anyone has an electronic device here with them tonight, that you please silence that in respect for those that will be speaking during the meeting. So thank you very much for that. So at this time, before we move into public input, I think Chris Paxton has maybe an introduction that he would like to make to the board and to the public.
Thank you, Mayor. We have Mr. Brent O'Neill with us today, and he is our new city engineer. We welcome him to our team, and we also wanted to say thank you to our HR department for helping us with that process. They've done a great job bringing him on board, and I believe he comes to us with 25 plus years of experience, and if you'd like him to say anything, then that will be fine.
So would you like to say anything tonight, sir?
Just thank you all very much. It's been great coming back to Arkansas. This is where I grew up, so it's good to be back.
Thank you, Brent, and welcome.
Thank you.
With that, we will move into our public input. I would ask if there's anyone here that would like to address the board on an item that is not on our regular agenda. Come to the podium, give us your name and address, and you will have 3 minutes.
Madam Mayor, Randy Torres, 19208 Fisher Ford Road. I just wanted to let you all know that a little over a week ago, I attended a housing affordability summit in Cave Springs where local and state leaders got together and discussed some of the regional things that are going on as far as opportunities. And I just was so delighted to have Chris Paxton there representing our community. He did a very great job expressing some of the things that were important to our community and to our region. And so I just wanted to say kudos to you. Thank you, Chris, for representing this community so well.
Thank you, Randy. Appreciate that very much. Is there anyone else?
Good evening, Mayor and board members. It's good to be here again. I'd like to represent a couple of things that are going to be going on in our community shortly that I think the public and some of you might enjoy. One is, a few years ago, our Siloam Springs Rotary Club came up with the idea of a Mark Simmons Service Above Self Award. The Rotary stands for Service Above Self, as do some of the other civic clubs in our town, but that is one of our main mottos. So we have developed that in the name of Mark Simmons for all that he has done. And this year, we are excited to recognize Dr. Chip and Carrie Pollard at a luncheon on Tuesday, October 14th, 11:30 to 1. And we are still looking for sponsorships and things. This will be held at the Mark Simmons Great Hall on JBU's campus. And we look forward to seeing a lot of you there. The other thing we have going on is for the museum, my second hat tonight, and that is the Siloam Springs Sock Hop. And basically, it's a 50s themed event, but the true meaning of the event, with a lot of fun and a lot of fun music, and we can reminisce a lot, is to honor Maggie Smith, who presented the community with the Heiko book, Siloam Springs History, during the bicentennial year of 1976. I keep wanting to say 1776, but I know that was a while ago and a couple of us weren't born yet. So we really would like to have this as a main fundraiser for the museum. As we learn and do more things, we find out that there are a lot of things the museum could use. There's a lot of ways, especially with technology changing as fast as it is, that we kind of need to update and do at the museum. So we hope this event is a lot of fun, brings all the community together, and shares the history of our town. So there will be an award called the Maggie Smith Keeper of the History Award that night. And there are so many people in town that have helped the museum over the years, and we're grateful for that, and we look forward to a really fun evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary. Appreciate that very much.
Mary, thank you
Yes.
for naming something for Maggie Smith. She was a wonderful lady.
Is there anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Alma Sanchez. I reside at 9004 Overland Drive in Siloam Springs. I also own the Park House Kitchen and Bar located downtown. And that is why I'm here tonight, is to, not to sound like a broken record, but I'm up here again bringing up my concerns about the safety of the one-way on North College Street adjacent to my business. I've brought up the safety concerns several times with the lack of signage and the lack of clear street boundaries. It's kind of just been abandoned over there, is how I feel. And there's been lots of safety concerns. This weekend is why I'm here specifically. This weekend, somebody was making a turn onto the one-way and someone was going the wrong way. And to avoid the head-on collision, they swerved right and jumped my sidewalk and almost hit the dumpster that I have there right now for my remodel. Had they gone left, they might have hit a pedestrian on the sidewalk, ended up in the creek, or had my dumpster not been there, that's handicap parking. They may have hit somebody that was a patron at my restaurant that was parked in a handicap spot. It's not the first time something like that has happened. It's just something that put it fresh in my head again. And I sent an email out to all the board members today. Thank you, Mindy, for getting right back to me within 5 minutes. That was great. But then I realized there was a board meeting tonight, so I decided to just go ahead and come up here and put it in public record that it is a major safety concern, and I want to be proactive and not reactive. Somebody can seriously be injured there. We have lots of tourists that come to town and don't know that that's a one-way. A lot of us live here, we frequent downtown, we know that's a one-way, but all of the different people coming to visit, they don't always know that's a one-way. And we have another business on that street. We brought that up a few months ago, in maybe March, about the deck at Milling Around Place, and we brought up safety concerns with that, and had kind of put the one-way on the back burner. So I just want to bring that back up to the forefront and see if we can work together to get something done about that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else? If not, is there anyone here that would like to address the board on an item that is on our, I'm sorry. Christina?
I just would like to let you know that the presentation was left off of your sheet.
That's why we have this in front of us, right? Okay, so then after our public input, we're going to move to our presentation. So if there is no one that would like to address the board on the consent agenda, we only have one item, which is our meeting minutes.
Madam
Yes, David.
I just want to ask that we approve the minutes with my additions. There were some things that I said in the director comments that were left out that I wanted included, so I've already given them to Janae.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I just ask that they be included as part of my director comments.
Okay, all right, sounds good. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll do the consent agenda approval or whatever if you don't approve of them, and then we'll have our presentation. So with that, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda with the regular meeting minutes with the additional comments that have been given by Director Allen?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Roll call.
Burns,
Yes.
Wiles,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Rissler,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
So at this time, it looks like we have a presentation on the intersection improvement. And Christina, are you going to do that?
Yes, I am. Thank
All
you,
right.
Mayor. So what I have before you today really is just a reminder that we have requested a light at Lincoln and Kenwood, and the state has approved that. But in addition to that, the overpass on that is Lincoln over 412, that needs to be replaced. And based on my discussions with RDOT, it looks like one more vehicular incident hitting that bridge could potentially put it out of service. So what they're asking for is periodically they'll ask us to partner with them. And what they've done is they've, if you can see on this, basically it shows both of the projects. The project for Kenwood, where it crosses Lincoln, and then there would be an intersection right there with a light. And then there would be a bridge that covers 412 to the other side. And I believe we've also discussed having a side path there so that we could have pedestrian or bike traffic over that bridge as well. What RDOT has asked me to do is basically have a conversation with you this evening to be approved at a later date, whether or not you would be interested in the partnership. Would you move the slide forward? Thanks. This is basically what they've done is they've taken this Highway 264 intersection, which is the Lincoln-Kenwood intersection, and they've said, we'll put this into the bridge project, and at the end of the day, you'll pay less than if you guys went ahead and put that light in at 264 and did the 264 intersection by yourself.
Madam Mayor,
Yes. Betsy?
it's all, but isn't it all state highway and isn't it all technically their responsibility?
Well, they typically won't put in a light, and we've requested the changes. They didn't propose the changes to be made to Highway 264. We requested those changes. But what they have done is they've combined that with the bridge project, and basically what they've done is come up where if the city wishes to partner with the state, the total cost for the entire project together combined would be less than what it would be if we chose to just fix the 264 intersection. It would be approximately, mind you, these are estimates based on their current construction estimates. It would be approximately $5,041,000 that the city would have to participate for a project costing almost $14 million. So the state would pick up the bulk of that, but they are going to let us pay our share over 5 years. So there's currently $5 million, there's over $5 million in the Street Now account. But if we paid that out at $1 million over, $1 million every year, then we wouldn't deplete it to the point where we could not continue to do approximately what we do annually in the street fund anyway. Because we typically will budget about $4 million a year in our Street Now fund. So my question today is just, are you interested or are you not interested? And if you're interested, at a later date, they will bring forward a resolution for you guys to actually commit to the partnership. And then after that, they will bill us over the 5 years.
Betsy?
Which I'm glad you're in that seat as also the finance director. I think you have a better understanding than anybody, the budget. Can we afford that?
Because there's $5 million already sitting in that account, and they're only asking for $1 million each year over the next 5 years. Well, it's a little more than $1 million, but approximately. Yes, we can't afford it.
And it's not going to take away from anything else.
We probably will not be able to do one or two of the large rebuilds that we were planning to do until we save that money back up.
Okay. And is this interest-free?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Lisa.
A lot of times we've asked the state to go in and look at an intersection to see if a light is necessary. Is this how the conversation started, or we just automatically said, hey, can we get a traffic light here?
We do periodically ask them, hey, can we put a traffic light here? And what they'll do is a warrant study and tell us yes or no.
So did we have that done?
Yes.
And they didn't find it? Okay.
No, they did find that the warrants were there, and we could do this on our own, but it'll cost us approximately $5.5 million because they won't participate. They only put like 1.125 million into any given intersection project.
Oh, okay, so even though they found it, we were still gonna have to pay for the light,
Yes,
even though they found a need?
yes.
Okay.
Anyone else? David?
Christina, when you stated the overpass, that you were told if it gets hit one more time, it could take it out. Has it been hit a lot?
Honestly, I wouldn't be the best person to answer that, but Dennis is definitely shaking his head yes.
I've not heard of it being hit, but I know it's old. It looks
very old.
Yeah, but when you said that, I was unaware, so I couldn't help but ask.
It was the first time I'd heard it as well, so.
And then I'm glad that we got a copy of this handout to our state representative. He's sitting right here. The guy that has the purse strings. Couldn't help it, Randy, I'm sorry. But it looks like it's cheaper to do both
Yes,
than it is just the light.
that is what they proposed to us, yes.
Betsy?
And as someone who lives down 59, yes, it gets hit, and it's 412, so a lot of our major vehicles go through there. In fact, a semi had to turn around just last weekend and block traffic for quite a while. You did mention, because the walking path over the bridge is something we've talked about before because we don't have good access from north to south, and the state will include that.
That is what they said, yes.
Because I think that part's important. Yes,
So
thank you.
both of these graphics actually came from RDOT. I think I moved them around a little bit for visual, but yes, both of those came from RDOT. That's what they're proposing.
And I assume they'll make it taller, because I don't think it's tall enough right now. Because I do see trucks have to turn around and go down Kenwood.
Would they be able to raise it? Is that part of the plan?
I don't know about the elevation. There is I could probably send you something that showed elevation, but I don't have that here tonight.
We've all seen the crazy videos of other places, not here, where the trucker is lifted up and gets caught on a bridge or whatever, and so,
Yeah.
yeah.
I say yes, let's move forward with this.
So I will ask each director to give Christina your direction, whether you do or do not want her to proceed.
How much did you say is in that?
We currently have, actually, it's about $5.6 million.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I just point out that we are due to review the master street plan in 2026. And since I've been on the board, this is my 9th month. The very first thing that was requested was we had a meeting on reviewing the master street plan. And I remember all our concerns and all those concerns. And so when Christina mentions we're going to lose a couple of significant rebuilds, immediately with what's on the agenda tonight going to the second reading, immediately I think of Airport Road, I think of Don Hill Road, and I think of extending Tahlequah to Hyco and aligning that intersection for school interior traffic, for school traffic and that sort of thing. Then that's gone, even though from a, cost standpoint, it does make sense. $1 million a year doesn't seem much. I just wanted to remind us as we consider approving this, that we don't turn on each other like a pack of hyenas when we lose this $5 million. $1 million a year right now is significant. So there are some significant projects that have been spoken about for many years on this board and previous boards, and now this one. And we have rectifier apparatus at that intersection. I'm not going to take away the danger of that intersection. And, but, that's all. It's just that 5 million going away and $1 million a year, and there are other projects that are going to rear their head again. And so it's something to think about.
Madam Mayor? I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead, Lisa.
Based off of what Brad mentioned, when we do the 3/8 cents sales tax next year, isn't it? Can
Yes.
we dedicate more to streets?
Well, the 3/8 cents fund only goes to quality of life and utilities.
Utilities, not streets. Can we, when we take it to the vote of the people, and we know there's a need for streets, can we change that to streets?
You can. However, we also have the need in utilities, so I would just say, consider what the rates need to be if we're not going to continue to use this for utilities.
Oh, I'd like to see it continue with utilities as well. I mean, we've come to a crossroad where we're in need
Yes.
of taking care of our needs and not our wants. I mean, we're at that crossroad, that there's not hardly any options at this point.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, David.
I just wanted to echo what Brad said, that I would actually like to see us review the street plan before 2026, if possible. I know there's a lot on our plate during budgeting, but I think it goes hand in hand with budgeting on what we can afford and what we can't afford. And I would like us to actually be reviewing that at the same time, if not sooner. Simply because this is now in the mix, and I remember Brad did ask, earlier this year, and I think it's something we've always got to be reviewing to see, do we all agree this is the most necessary streets we have to do? And so I'd like to see it sooner rather than next year.
Thank you. Reed, did you have
Yes,
something?
Madam Mayor. First of all, I do think this is something I would like to pursue further. Right now, 59, that bridge is the only one that you can cross over Highway 412 in our community, but it is not pedestrian friendly. But if we were to do a side path, which to me, side paths show or delineates that it's going to be wider than just 3 or 4 feet. So it's going to allow for traffic to go either way. I think that is a good move. We would have one overpass in our whole city, and I think that is a necessity to be able to connect with the south side of town. I know you can use stoplights and you have the opportunity to get across there, but the safety of it to me is quite concerning. But to have at least one area where we can say we can get across Highway 412, I believe that's a good move. And I know that the intersection there at Kenwood and Lincoln has had difficulties, not just the last few years, but for several years, and I'd like to see that addressed in that. So I would like to see if we could look at the next steps.
Thank you. Reed, anyone else? Mindy?
Well, I was just going to say, I appreciate what's been said so far. And while I agree we do need to look at the master street plan again and maybe rethink some of the streets, although I think we all agree that there are several that all sort of have the same priority level, which is a high priority level, But it feels like it has been determined that this particular intersection is not safe, which to me necessitates maybe taking care of this, and we have the financial opportunity to do so. Yes, it's going to cost money, but it's not going to cost less money on down the road. So I would be in favor of this. And as Reed said, too, it kind of gives us that connectivity solution for crossing 412, which we've been talking about for a while. So I think it would be good to pursue this.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, David?
the last overpass I recall was over the railroad tracks near Gates, north of Gates, or south of Gates. And it does have a side path, I think, or at least a small sidewalk. I think it does, yeah.
Because of
And
the
that
school.
was also necessary because of the risk with, well, our fire trucks having that just the fire alone, the danger of having to be stopped because of a train. And those trains many times stop on the track. So I didn't know if anybody recalled how long that took. I mean, I know this is not a complete new rebuild, but I just knew that was the last one that really, and it's been a success. You know, it's not like major traffic goes over in terms of there are some big trucks, but I just know that one is wide too. We have, I think, 3 lanes and the sidewalk.
Anyone else? Yes, Ken?
I'll just say I agree with what's been said and would be interested in pursuing this as well.
Thank you all. Christina, I think you have your direction.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you all. So with that, we will move on to our regularly scheduled items, beginning with contracts and approvals. Contract for Public Works Department, Streets and Infrastructure, McClelland Consulting Engineers for Waukesha Road Realignment, $211,325. Dennis, I believe you're going to brief us on that.
Madam Mayor, Board, Dennis Kennedy, Street Department Superintendent, bring a recommendation to approve McClelland Consulting Engineers to design the Waukesha Road realignment for $211,325. This is a situation where we had scheduled to build this road this year, and it was going to get designed in-house, but the way things worked out with the staffing issues this year, the staff is recommending that we have this firm design this project and then it be built next year. And staff's here for any questions.
Thank you, Dennis. Directors?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Betsy.
I know the people who are putting up those units on 16 are supposed to extend Quarter Road from Waukesha to 16.
Yes.
Will this coordinate with them so it'll all be done together?
That's part of the contract is they have to coordinate with them. And this is just realigning that intersection so things line up there, not just north and south, but also east and west, as that road's going to carry on to 16 now.
Right, okay. I just thought since they're probably going to affect that, it'd be good if
Yes.
everybody worked together on that one. So,
That is
thank
in the
you.
contract, that they have to work with them, so.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, David.
Dennis, thanks for getting this professionally presented with the maps and everything. When it begins to turn there, as it is now, I mean, people just, do they even stop when they get to Quarter Road if they're driving? Yeah, that's what I thought. They just zip on through.
Right.
But now, would it be a 4-way stop
Yes, it
sign?
will.
Okay. What will the remainder of the Waukesha, will it be covered up or the part that is being bypassed basically?
we'll just abandon that and it'll just
Okay.
be dirt.
Yeah,
You know, when they done that subdivision there, they dedicated land for us to do
Okay.
this.
I didn't know why they curved the housing.
That's why they did it.
What, did they do it because of that?
That piece of
Okay.
ground was dedicated to the city
Okay,
to
good
be
deal.
able to align that intersection up.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I just knew we had a lot of discussion about it and I knew there was a lot of plans going into it. So this is going to solve a long-term problem with that intersection with people just flying through it. So good deal. Thank you, Dennis.
Anyone else? Mindy?
Madam Mayor, so Dennis, will there be any improvements made to the rest of Quarter Road up to 59 from where that alignment is?
Only for a couple of 100 feet to make things tie back into the original width for now, going to the west, and then going to the east, we'll stub just a little bit to the east, and they'll tie onto that.
Yeah, so that section between there and 16 will all be new, but we'll
Yes.
still have a few of the little bumps to deal with on Quarter Road.
Well, Quarter Road is actually slotted to be overlaid this year, so.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So we'll attach and take Quarter Road, when we do our overlay, we'll stop just short of that curve so that, because the construction, there would be no reason to do the extra paving since we're gonna start tearing that intersection out next year, so.
Okay, perfect.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, David?
Dennis, when we first approved this zoning change and the housing and everything, I'll never forget, I was swayed to really get on board because I believe it was Kevin who said, this is $1 million they're going to build. This developer on the Quarter Road, right? They're going to go east from this intersection. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And it was like, how do we look that gift horse in the mouth? We can't. And so I just wanted to make sure that's still in the works, that plan for the developer to build the extension of Quarter.
As
to the-
far as I know, have
Yeah.
y'all heard any different? I didn't think, so,
So it's still,
so that development's still on go for now.
It's my understanding that it's still a part of the project.
Yes.
but they are still planning to
That is my understanding.
build the development and everything. Okay, good deal. Thank you, Dennis.
Anyone else? Not, is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the contract for the intersection, Waukesha Road? There is not. So directors, do I have a motion to approve the contract for the $211,325 for Waukesha Road realignment?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Wiles.
Yes.
Hunt.
Yes?
Rissler.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate that very much. Good job. Next is ordinance 25-28, second reading, amending section 102-21 of the City Municipal Code, rezoning from R2 to GI 103 South Holly Street. Ben?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the board, Ben Rhodes, Senior Planner. So you are looking at the second reading at rezoning at 103 South Holly Street. The proposal is going from R2 to GI. That's an institutional zoning. And this includes lots 6 through 8 of the Black Whales subdivision. The original proposal was for 1.77 acres. And as a reminder, there were no future land use map amendments needed for that. I did want to advise the board, and hopefully you saw that in the memorandum that was included, that the applicant did reach out to city staff and has requested to amend their rezoning request to 0.74 acres. And that would include, as I showed in the red outline there, the potential motion of the board if you decided to fulfill that request of the applicant, to amend the legal description as shown, and we'll have that up on the screen for you guys to look at if you need to. And also on the map on the left, You see the little red box that shows more the area of what they're intending to rezone, which is essentially the area around the house. Here I have a little zoomed in map for you to look at. This again, it's taking just lot 7, 6, and 7, and that western 164 feet of lot 8. And so this is going to be the area just around where the house is. It's not going to include other neighbors' properties that butt up against it as you go further east. As you can see, the area where it says the 1.77 acre and the lot 8, that will not be included. That will be remain R2, and the part in the red outline would be the GI zoning. And so once again, that is the potential motion you can look at, and staff is available for any of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Directors? Yes, David?
On top of that, Ben, I'm looking at that map. By the shrunk down rectangle, it looks like now the only neighbors next to it, one of them is John Brown University land.
That's correct. Yeah.
So it only affects one, and I know them. I think they're pretty easygoing people. So I think this is a better proposal, and I appreciate John Brown for making the change.
Thank you, David. Brad? Did you have
I
something?
didn't say Madam Mayor, but you're reading
But
my mind.
I knew. You were leaning forward.
Madam Mayor, so I rode my bicycle over there and walked the neighborhood, and then I went to the adjacent streets to the east, which are totally shaded by what I would call a holler there, but I just want to remind JBU that, I mean, I'll have to remind them, but just encourage them. I know they're going to develop that property. I know what your intent is on that. And so I just would like for you to take a look at the 2040 Comprehensive Plan, Part 3, our plan under housing. And then if the neighbors that were concerned are also listening, there's some great information on what our intent is with housing. It goes along with affordable housing, but it also gives some templates on it might meet your needs and still be G1, but still have a R2 feel to it. And so it's online, it's available out there. I like plans work, stick with the plan. And that was the intent of that, is just the concerned neighbors, and that we do have a plan out there that allows some of that housing, and that might ease some of those concerns going out in the future. It's going to take a budget process, but you guys are going to develop at that, and I anticipate that to be some sort of student housing or whatever it is. Who knows? But I feel really strong. I've watched JBU over the years, so, and I sat next to Steve Beers for a couple of years. So, I'm in tune with JBU. But I just encourage that in the neighbors. Look at the comprehensive plan, look under Part 3, look under the housing, and some of the options that are going to be happening in the neighborhoods. And I would tell the residents that change is on the horizon. It's been approved at the state capitol. It's law now. We're going to have accessory dwelling units. Your neighborhoods are going to change. And change is good, but it does require us to understand what that change looks like. And I think this is an example of, we appreciate you working with that, but you have a need, and I know you're going to address that need, and you'll be back up here. I don't know if it's next year, but you'll be back here on this property asking for something. So thank you.
What page is that on, Brad?
Oh, man. Yeah, now you're killing me.
Is there anyone else?
73.
If not, is there anyone in the audience that would like to address ordinance 25-28? There is not, so I will come back to the directors and ask if I can get a motion to place ordinance 25-28 with the revised legal for lots 6 and 7 only on its second reading, suspending the rules and reading by title only. And Chris, you have something to say before we do that.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Mayor, Chris Paxton, I'm the Director of Administrative Services. I will note that since if an item goes to, is amended after it has had its first reading, then it goes back to its first reading. So I believe that the proper method is to amend the ordinance and then return it back to its first reading.
So then we would revise that ordinance by a motion to just amend it, and then we will go back and ask for the reading. Is that correct? All right. So then what I am asking for is a motion to amend ordinance 25-28 to revise the legal for the rezoning for lot 6 and 7 only.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Hunt.
I'm abstaining because I'm an employee of the university.
Whistler.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Wiles.
Yes.
Motion is approved. I will now ask for, I will now ask for ordinance 25-28 to be added, to be placed on its first reading, suspending the rules and reading by title only as revised.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Ritzler.
Yes.
Yes, Brad.
Before we do a roll call, would it be good for us to put this on its first, second, and third reading? I think JB worked with us on this. It meets the needs, and I think they have a fairly immediate need. Wouldn't that make sense? Technically, it's a second reading.
You may absolutely ask for that.
Make a motion, we place this. I know some of us don't like to do this, but first, second, and third reading.
There's already a motion on the floor.
We have to take back our motions.
What did Lisa?
Yes.
Okay, so we do have a motion on the floor.
A
Ken?
motion can be withdrawn if
So-
you want to, or you can vote on it.
Okay.
She would like to make a comment. She raised her hand, so before we get too far, I just wanted to point that out, that if you've got something you want to say.
I was just going to address your comment about immediate need. Yeah, it would be great if we could have it now, but we really need it by January. That's like, it would be fantastic by then. It would be great now. We could actually deal with it now, even. I just want to also say that we listen to the residents. I hope you see that, and we want to be good neighbors. We want to do things the right way. And we hope to continue to bring, by our blessing of strong enrollment, to bring economic impact in a positive way to Siloam Springs, but at the same time, we want to be a good neighbor. And so it would be fantastic if we could have this approved now, but it's really critical by January, so.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Doesn't she have to say her name and everything for the audio record? And I've got a question since she's up.
Kim Hadley, Executive Vice President, John Brown University.
Thank you, Kim.
Madam Mayor,
Now
can
you
I
may
ask?
have a
Okay.
question, yeah.
So if we did it all immediately, would you be able to put students in before January? Or are you saying January is the
Yeah,
latest?
I mean, I think we would offer it to some students that are in quad rooms right now on campus. So that could, I mean, a quad room is an option, and students are staying there now, but there may be some students that would prefer to move.
And this is like ready to go? I mean, it's
Yeah,
not...
we own the property, and we have 4 students in it. But we have beds that could be for 10. We have enough.
So it's being used now?
Yeah, we own it.
But you'd be able to put more?
We would be able, yeah,
Okay.
we're complying with the 4 unrelated
Right.
parties in it. And we don't currently have plans for the back space. We're evaluating whether we can, with all the housing we have, if we replicate our class, we may be okay next year without having to build. But we have other property too. So I'm not certain that we would come back in the next couple of years for anything, because right now we don't have any plans. Anything we would do in the future, we would have to look at all of our property and see, what's the most effective place for us. And there are other options. But right now, all the plans we have is we would love to be able to put more students in this house.
Well, you're using it now, but it'd be better because you could take some people from
A quad room.
crowded location and
Yes.
be able to put them into
Yeah.
this actual bigger location, which
Right.
is a home. Yeah.
Right.
I've got it. That makes sense. Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate you giving us the scoop, because otherwise, when you said January, I was like, oh, we don't have to do it till January. But no, it would help.
It would
now.
help.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
I
Lisa?
withdraw my,
And I withdraw my second. I think I had the second. I don't.
withdraw.
So the original motion and second has been withdrawn. So now we have a motion from Brad to place this on its first, second, and third reading, suspending the rules and reading by title only with revised legal.
Second.
A motion and a second. Roll call.
I will just say, Madam Mayor, normally I don't like doing 1, 2, and 3. I don't even like doing 2 and 3 because state law says you're supposed to have 3 separate reading. But we have, as Brad was stating, John Brown has been not just a great company, but a great employer and been such a boon to our city. But this definitely is going to help relieve some congestion. So,
And the law does allow you to make that
yes.
decision as a board.
For situations that
Yes.
will, but we don't do it all the time.
No,
And people
certainly
should not
don't.
expect to do it just to keep them from having to come to a third meeting. But this is most definitely something that, this is the kind of reason we have that ability to do it for us.
Yes.
Is what I'm saying. Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Betsy?
And she said it was not an emergency, and there is a change to the ordinance. I would prefer to have one more reading, just that way if citizens do want to speak up, if they do want to say something, because this does affect the citizens who live there, I would prefer to have one more reading. So just give people a chance, since it has changed.
So first, we will vote on the motion that we have in front of us. And if that motion fails, then we'll come back and ask for a motion for the first reading only, or, which is what we would go back to, or first and second. Getting yes from the,
Yes.
so,
you need-
okay.
And Madam Mayor,
All right.
can I say
Yes.
thank you, JBU, for listening to the residents? That's not always done by companies, and they did here, and it shows, and I appreciate that. And I think the residents appreciate it.
So with that, we do have a motion to place this on its first, second, and third reading. Roll call.
Whistler,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Blair,
No.
Burns,
Yes.
Wiles,
Yes.
Hunt.
So motion is approved by a 5-1 vote. Christina?
Ordinance number 25-28, an ordinance amending section 102-21 of the Siloam Springs Municipal Code, city zoning map, rezoning from R2 to GI, property located at 103 South Holly Street.
Thank you, ma'am. Do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 25-28?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Did you get those? Roll call.
Allen,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Wiles,
Yes.
Hunt.
Abstain. Motion is approved. Ordinance is adopted.
I didn't vote.
Oh, you did not vote? She did. Did you get Rissler's vote?
I'm sorry, I did not.
What is your vote?
Rissler?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't think I voted.
I don't remember voting.
Maybe I did, but.
All right. Next is ordinance 25-29. This is the second reading, amending section 102-21 of the City Municipal Code, rezoning from A1 to C2, 400 to 500 block of North Simon Sager Avenue. Ben?
Yes, thank you again, Madam Mayor, members of the board, Ben Rhodes. Yes, we're at the 400, 500 block of North Simon Sager. This is going from A1 to C2 roadway commercial. It's 2 lots, 22.38 acres. And in addition to the rezoning, they are requesting a future land use map amendment, which the staff is supportive of, changing this from mixed use to regional commercial. Since last time, we have not received any comments from the public on this. I do believe there was a comment from the applicant, but nothing from the public. With that, we're available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Directors, comments or questions for Ben?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Betsy?
I've been asked, do you know what their plan is for this property?
They're just marketing it.
Okay, so basically they just want to do this so they can sell it?
Yes.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Brad?
I did, just a reminder, at the first reading, I just discussed the watershed. You will find that Mudflat Creek does not exist on a map that I can find, but it does flow into some property that the city owns. And I was reassured by our plan that we have stormwater management and these wetland areas will abide by required laws when they are developed. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? If not, is there anyone in the audience that would like to address ordinance 25-29? Please state your name and address for us, sir.
Good evening, Ron Holmeyer, Civil Engineering, 701 South Mount Olive Street. I've been requested, the applicant has asked me to request that y'all consider the second and third readings tonight on that. There's been little to no comment from the public on this, and this is essentially the third meeting where it's been, before then, been more than a month since the first meeting, and so just request that you consider that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address this ordinance? There is not. Directors, I will come back to you. You've heard the request. Do I have a motion to place this ordinance on its second and third reading, suspending the rules, reading by title only? I do not. So then I will ask, do I have a motion to place ordinance 25-29 on its second reading, suspending the rules and reading by title only?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Allen?
Abstain, family reasons.
Carroll?
Yes.
Blair?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Wiles?
Yes.
Hunt?
Yes.
Rissler? Yes.
Motion is approved. Christina?
Ordinance number 25-29, an ordinance amending section 102-21 of the Siloam Springs Municipal Code, City Zoning Map, rezoning from A1 to C2, property located at the 400 to 500 block of North Simon Sager Avenue, and amending the future land use map of the Siloam Springs 2040 Comprehensive Plan.
Thank you. Next is ordinance 25-30, second reading, annexation of 176 acres, the 14,000 to 15,000 block of Arkansas 59, and the 20,600 block of Bill Young Road. Ben?
Yes, thank you again, Madam Mayor. Ben Rhodes. Yes, this is an annexation, 176 acres along Highway 59, as well as going all the way up to Bill Young Road. This is on the second reading. The applicant is requesting to zone the southern portion to A1 agricultural, with the remainder coming in automatically as R2 by ordinance. A future land use map amendment is needed specifically for the agricultural portion because that section was considered regional commercial on the plan, but it would have to be changed to rural residential for by the request for the A1 zone. And just as a reminder, the long-term plan is to have commercial there, but they're just wanting to keep it as a agricultural farm in the short term. Here again is the map that shows the area with the A1 to the south and R2 to the north. Since the last reading, we did receive a call from the neighbor that was in support of the request. So with that, we're available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Directors? Yes, David?
Ben, can you tell me, that map you have right there, the pink is the city limits.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
The square or rectangle, small rectangle between the top of the pink and the red rectangle straight up from it, it just is blank. It says airport on our map, but is that part of city-owned property?
I believe it's city-owned, but it's not part of the annexation.
Yeah. Why would we not have that in the city limits if we own it?
We can. That just wasn't part of this particular request.
Yeah. I know. I just saw it and I thought, if that's part of our whole airport property, we ought to have that in the city limits too. So just something to write down, put down. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
First, I'd like to thank Ron Homeyer for, he didn't charge me for me stopping by his office unannounced to ask questions about this property and some other things that are driving the housing market that I'm trying to wrap my head around because I'm not a fan of urban sprawl, but understanding, because things have changed, that this is our new reality. I just want to remind us that I am pro-annexation. I support this. We've got some obstacles to partnership with the county. To the north of this proposed annexation on the R2 is right on Bill Young Road, right across the street. Your neighbor is poultry and full-blown chicken houses. And that's just, I think, part of Arkansas's landscape. The governor was just up here speaking with local farmers. We have a farming crisis in the state of Arkansas. It's just a reality. Funding and some other things going out there, climate change and what have you. And so I embrace this intertwining between both of them. I was encouraged with Ron because my main concern out here with development is I feel good with the partnership with the county. Once again, this is a road that's going to, Director Blair is going to hear from her ward members on this one, if this goes through or when it goes through, whichever. But this will be another road that's going to have to be addressed because it'll be a cut-through route, just like the one we just did on the realigning off of Highway 16. But the watershed, and Ron reminded me that we had discussed this watershed before, and it's my fault if I was on the board 10 or so years ago and we didn't address it then, but I did get a great phone call from somebody that represents the Mud Puddle Group. He's there. I don't recognize, I've never met you, but I had a great conversation. Thanks for reaching out to me. And it was concerned about watershed. And I expressed to him, we're tired of retention ponds and making it part of the land feature. And so just knowing some of our thought process, if we approve this annexation, that when they go to develop, I didn't want to ambush them and be really straightforward of what we're anticipating this to be. This is part of the old Lindsay Prairie. There were thousands and thousands of acres of prairie. And then we kicked the Osage out, and we settled it, and we've turned it upside down. But on this particular north end, you'll see mounds, and when you see those prairie mounds, that's virgin prairie. and it's never been tilled, it's just been harvested for hay. And so now we're to develop it, and I don't want to get real hippie on you, but I think we learned some things in the past on our south developments and off Kenwood. And I'm hoping that if this goes through, we don't repeat those things, same mistakes. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Anyone else? Not, is there anyone in the audience that would like to address ordinance 25-30? Yes, sir. Please state your name and address.
Good evening, Will Kellstrom. Address is 1106 West Poplar Street in Rogers. I am here on behalf of the developer of the R2 portion of that property that y'all are seeing on the screen right now. So I've seen the video from the last meeting. I think everyone's pretty familiar with how big it is and where it is and what it's being zoned. But at the last meeting, there were some questions about some of the things that Mr. Burns just discussed. So we wanted to make sure that we were here at this meeting to answer any questions that might come up. Blake Murray is the engineer on the project with Crafton and Toll. So I would take this time to stress that this is just an annexation and zoning. It's not a development plan. We do not have fully fleshed out development plans. However, to the extent that people have questions about our plans with the water and if we're prepared to manage it and if we're aware if it's there, we can certainly answer those, as well as any improvements that might be required as a result of a development plan. So in closing, similar to Mr. Homeyer, my client has also asked that we put this on the second and third reading tonight. We would certainly appreciate that if y'all would be willing to do that. At the same time, if there are more questions and y'all want to send us back with homework and have us come here again to answer questions, we're happy to do that too. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So yes, directors, David?
Will, could I ask you a question, please? Is it Will?
Yes.
Did you just say there's a video on this property? Did you see a video?
The video from the meeting on September
from the
2nd.
meeting.
Yes,
Okay.
of all of you guys.
I didn't know if there was something that was, you said as big as it is, so I didn't know if there was a video showing the property or something that we didn't see. So that's all. That's all I meant. Yeah.
Sorry,
thank you.
should have clarified.
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Anyone else? Then is there anyone else in the public that would like to address this ordinance 25-30? There is not. So directors, you have heard the request, so I will ask first for a motion to place ordinance 25-30 on its second and third reading, suspending the rules, reading by title only. I do not have a motion for that, so I will ask for a motion to place ordinance 25-30 on its second reading, suspending the rules and reading by title only.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Carroll.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes?
Wiles.
Yes.
Hunt.
Yes.
Rissler.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Christina?
Ordinance number 25-30, an ordinance accepting the annexation of certain territory described 14,000 to 15,000 block of Arkansas Highway 59 and the 20,600 block of Bill Young Road to the city of Siloam Springs, Arkansas, assigning the same to a ward, and amending the future use land map of the Siloam Springs 2040 Comprehensive Plan.
Thank you, ma'am. Will, thank you very much for coming and giving your information to the board, so they will have that for consideration on the third reading. So next is ordinance 25-31, second reading, vacation of a drainage easement, 1113 East Ashley Street.
Yes, thank you again, Madam Mayor, members of the board, Ben Rhodes. As I mentioned last time, this is an unneeded drainage easement that's been moved since the last time, or since this site's been developed. And there were just the owners just requesting to vacate that old easement. As you can see here, that's highlighted. Staff has not received any additional questions or comments from the public since the last reading, and we are available for any of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Directors, comments or questions? There is none. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address ordinance 25-31? There being none, do I have a motion to place ordinance 25-31 on its second reading, suspending the rules, reading by title only?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Blair,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Wiles,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Rissler,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Christina?
Ordinance number 25-31, an ordinance vacating and abandoning drainage easements at 1113 East Ashley Street.
Thank you. Next is ordinance 25-32, second reading, amending section 102-21 of the City Municipal Code, rezoning from A1 to C2, the 400 block of North Progress Avenue. Kyle?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, directors. So the request here is to rezone the subject property from A1 agricultural to the C2 zoning district, as well as amend the future land use map, because the current future land use map designation is not appropriate for a portion of the property. The applicant desires to rezone Tract 5 of the Lowe's subdivision, consisting of 6.24 acres. And we are needing the future land use map amendment for that to happen prior to rezone, if that is what is to occur. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any comments or questions, directors? If there is none, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to ordinance 25-32? There is not. So I would ask, do I have a motion to place ordinance 25-32 on its second reading, suspending the rules and reading by title only?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Burns,
Yes.
Wiles,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Rissler,
Yes.
Allen,
Abstained, family reason.
Carroll,
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Christina?
Ordinance number 25-32, an ordinance amending section 102-21 of the Siloam Springs Municipal Code, City Zoning Map, rezoning from A1 to C2, property located at the 400 block of North Progress Avenue, and amending the future land use map of the Siloam Springs 2040 Comprehensive Plan.
Thank you. Next is ordinance 25-33, first reading, amending certain sections within Article 4 of Chapter 2 of the City Municipal Code, purchases and sales. Normally, I do not make the presentations for the ordinances that you all are considering, but because the board had expressed their desire to use a recruiting service for looking at our next administrator, I have spoken with legal, and because our ordinance does not cover recruiting services as a part of the professional services, there needed to be a change in the ordinance before we moved forward as a board to use the RFQ for procuring those services. So that is why this is being brought to you all tonight. It is up to you all whether you want to do one reading at a time, if you want to do the first, second, and third reading. But I believe, if I understood Heather correctly, that until this is passed, we can't move forward with the RFQ for the services. Is that, the recruiting services, is that correct?
That's correct. If you don't want to submit this to a bidding process, you're going to have to amend your ordinance.
Okay, thank you very much. So, directors, then I will come to you. Questions? Yes, David.
I'm a little blown away how much has been added to this, in that all we are really needing to do is add to what we already have on allowing professional services, which, just for the public, professional service could be accountant, insurance agent, legal, in that we are able to designate, basically, after looking at qualifications. But
Yes.
I don't understand why we're not just adding that to what we already have. On top of that, I don't think we should be giving the mayor authority to spend money because that is not what this form of government allows. And that's what this detail does do. I think it's fine to do what we had planned on the memo. It says to just add recruiting services to the definition of professional services, and I think that's all the
Madam Mayor,
ordinance need to do.
if I may, Heather Owens, City Attorney, that we addressed the issue regarding expenditure by the city administrator in this circumstance, specifically when a recruiting firm is being hired for the position of city administrator, because your ordinances don't allow the city administrator to be involved or have any power and authority over her filling her own position. Ordinance 2-7 prohibits that. And also, your ordinances do allow you to delegate powers to the mayor as provided by state law or by ordinance, and that's Ordinance 2-71. So based on those two ordinances and the conflict that would arise if the city administrator or an interim city administrator is involved in the selection of a firm to fill that position, especially if the interim city administrator was wanting to be in the running for the position, we chose to include language that bypassed the city administrator only when dealing with that position. And again, the language does not automatically give the mayor any authority. The language in there is may. That would all have to be approved by the board before the mayor has that authority.
Why would we not just approve the HR director?
If you would like to do that, you can. We chose the mayor because the mayor was part of the board of directors and in these discussions. However, that is entirely up to you as a board to make that decision. You can approve the language, you can strike the language in its entirety. That's entirely up to you. I just wanted to give background on why we included the end around regarding the city administrator position, because your ordinances specifically prohibit her involvement.
Madam,
But we are not giving authority except in selection of a recruitment firm, employment firm. It's not as if the city administrator would be involved in the selection of the city administrator.
That's right, it's prohibited by your ordinance, which someone has to execute that contract and narrow that list. And normally under your ordinances, that would be the city administrator, but in the case of a circumstance involving her position, she cannot do that.
Okay, I respectfully disagree, but that's not uncommon for me.
Two things. So it couldn't read the city administrator or designee?
Yes, you can change the language if you want to. We were just asked to come up with proposed
Right.
language based on state law and your ordinances, and that's what we did. This all is in your hands, so you can amend this, vote it down, don't like it, you have that authority. So feel free to make any changes that you feel are necessary.
I feel like it should be an employee of the city, for starters, and where it says that basically the mayor would decide on the vacancy evaluation qualifications of the nomination, that the mayor would decide which firm is the most capable. That seems like head of HR would be, the director of HR would be more appropriate to choose which firm in a case like that. And like I said, I would be more comfortable if it were a city employee, whether it's the director of HR or the city administrator or their designee. And it has nothing to do with this mayor, just so we're clear. Nothing at all. So,
Well, we've already been told that this interim city administrator is not going to apply for the position, so that doesn't apply for that particular reasoning either.
Except that the next time she may. So unless you want to amend the ordinance again,
I fully understand, Heather. I'm not trying to be argumentative. I will make a motion that we change the contact person to the head of HR, just because that is their forte.
And which section and letter are we looking at, David?
I think there's too many sections that have been added. I think it goes into so much detail on different job vacancies that are really unnecessary to have in this write-up.
So you would then say that anywhere that it's designating someone to act on behalf, is that, it would be the HR director, is that correct?
If it's to do with the personnel
Right.
or employment or recruitment firm.
And then, of course, that comes back to the board for final approval. So.
Right.
Chris, did you have something you wanted to say? I think you helped. No. Okay. So that is your motion. And Heather, is that enough direction for us to make the changes that David is wanting to have made?
I don't know, I think I would need to look at it. And he'd need to be more specific, I think. I understand you're trying to interpret what he was saying, but I don't understand what he wanted to exclude.
So then perhaps, because there are some changes that the board would like to see made, we should table this until the next meeting. Between now and then, we can get those changes put into place, some clearer directions given to Heather, and then we can look at this in the first meeting in October. Is that acceptable? Do I have a motion to do that?
Madam Mayor?
Yes,
Before we
go
go
ahead.
into motion.
Sure.
I've only had one experience of hiring a city administrator, and that city administrator lasted around 8 years. The system worked. We're going into a budget cycle, and now we're delaying it even further. So I just want to be on record, when I got on this board, I felt we needed to move forward with this process. And I'm submissive to my fellow board members, but this is what happens when we lack that leadership that the city requires. And so here we are, and it's another delay. So I just want to be on record on that. We had a process, it's worked well over the years. We're changing that process, and we were going to delay that. So I just want everybody to be happy, whatever your end result is. I'm being submissive to this. Respectfully, thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
So Lisa, and then I'll come to you,
Oh, okay.
David.
I just want to state on record that I do appreciate your leadership, Christina, because you've worked for the city for a long time. You know what's going on. You've kept us on track with the budget. You've communicated well. And so I feel safe in your hands right now while we navigate finding a new city administrator. And I want to say thank you for that.
Anyway, so David, yes.
I understand where Director Burns is coming from. I've wanted to get this show on the road for quite some time as well. That's why I, 3 months ago, presented the board with a long, long list of recruitment firms. And there's been a lot of delays, but I don't believe an ordinance that is expanding the power of the mayor when we are not in a mayor-council form of government is appropriate.
If we can amend it tonight, which specific portion do you want changed? And I assume you take issue with the sentence in subsection 5, in the event professional services are necessary for the employment, recruitment, or evaluation of a city administrator during a period of vacancy, the board of directors may delegate spending related to selection of such professional services to the mayor until said vacancy is filled. You have issue with with mayor being there, correct? Or do you have a problem with the whole sentence?
I have a problem with the entire thing because there's 3 paragraphs that have been added that don't need to be added. The only thing that we were supposed to be designating here was adding employee selection services to the list of professional services that we can.
Right, but that brought up these other issues.
Can I finish a sentence? Can I finish my thought? I think this is overwritten. I think it goes into too much detail. I think it's, well, this will be this way, and this will be this way, and this will be this way for engineering and professional vacancies, and it just doesn't. You tell me how, when this comes to the implementation, how anyone is supposed to read this and interpret it, because it is so overwritten. The first paragraph alone for city administrator vacancy is 13 lines. Department head, engineering, and professional vacancies is totally separate. And then the last paragraph is when a contract for professional services is regarding the employment, recruitment, or evaluation of a city administrator during a period of vacancy, evaluation of qualifications and nomination of the most capable firm may be performed by the mayor in compliance with the process defined by the board of directors, which shall, by a majority vote, determine how such process shall proceed. Such process shall comply with state law in coordination with city attorney. Again, we're already in the midst of doing this, and to funnel all of these things to the mayor is expanding the role of the mayor in a form of government that doesn't have that power.
I understand what you're saying. I'm trying to find a solution on the fly here, because when you all wanted to hire a recruiting firm, that was what you want to do, correct? Or have I misunderstood that? Okay, that is not a professional service. So if you want to solicit RFQs for a firm, you're going to have to define that by ordinance as a professional service, okay? Or you're going to have to solicit bids. There's no either or. It is an either or. There's no middle ground. Either solicit bids or we pass an ordinance to define it as a professional service.
And why can't we do just what you said?
Can I finish my sentence, please?
Why don't we do just what you said?
Can I finish my thought, please?
Well, you've interrupted me 5 times, Heather.
Can I finish my thought, please? I'm trying to explain to the board so they understand. When that happened, it created a conflict because in your form of government, the city administrator does the hiring and firing and handles all contracts. You also have an ordinance that says the city administrator can't be involved in the hiring of his or her own position. You already have that ordinance. So I thought, evaluating all of it, that the best solution was to funnel it through the mayor, because she is already involved in all of these discussions, with your approval, because your ordinance also allows her to have those powers under state law and those designated by ordinance by you guys. Again, I was just trying to solve your problem because we cannot hire a firm without this ordinance. If you want to scrap all of it and just say, hire a firm, that's fine. It can all go through the city administrator. She can pick it like normal. If you guys are comfortable doing that, we can have it be that way. I just noticed the conflict in your ordinances and was trying to fix that.
Madam Mayor?
Mindy?
I understand David has more of a concern than just the mayor part, but would it help at all to add or designee, mayor or designee? And then it's still completely up to us as to whether we want the mayor to handle these things or we can designate someone else to handle these things. There's still all the other language there, but I'm hearing Heather say that that language is there to protect us from other things that we've already done or said, to keep us from getting in trouble with ourselves. Would that help?
This is totally up to you. I mean, if you don't want me to do this, I'm fine with that, okay? I mean, I am not offended by that. If that's what you so choose, I'm fine with that. If you want it to be,
That's not my issue. I was trying to address a possible solution for the concerns that David had, that, so then it's mayor or designee.
So, Madam Mayor, I guess I need some clarification, which may or may not help things. So the part where it says, all such expenditures shall be coordinated with the Director of Finance, reported to the board by the mayor, and if in excess of 30,000. And before that, well, y'all can read it and know what it says. Professional services to the mayor, selection. Anyway, does that mean the mayor, in this case, could decide to spend under 30,000, like they decide on what they want? Or does it mean the board would have to decide and then the mayor could move forward with following the board's direction?
My interpretation of this is that the mayor would operate just like the city administrator would in such a situation, and the discretionary spending amount is up to $30,000. That would have to be reported to the board and approved by the finance director, but yes.
So the mayor could choose to spend it without the board's, as long as it's under 30,000, they could choose to spend it without board approval and then come tell us they spent it?
Yes.
I don't think we want to do that.
That's where my, that's why I'm not, and it has nothing to do with our mayor.
Your mayor doesn't want to spend.
Right. And because this ordinance is for the future too, and who knows who the mayor could be. That's why like I said earlier, I feel like it should be an employee of the city, in the HR director for, what was it, Section C under Section 2, Part C. That part, I think the HR director makes sense because that's choosing a capable firm. The part deciding how much money, I'm not sure who that should be if it's not the city administrator. And is there a way to change or take out that part?
You can take that part out completely.
So what if we somehow, and I'm not the legalese person, took that part out, so we're not giving anybody else authority to spend 30,000 without our permission, less than 30,000. Take that part out altogether, and then have either maybe under Part C at the very end, instead of the mayor choosing the firm, that it's the HR director or designee who's been approved by the board.
Yes.
Well, or the board decides, the board decides who the designee is.
Yes.
That chooses, and then we could decide if it's the HR director, we could decide if it's the city clerk, we could decide who we want. Would that?
Absolutely, you can do that.
So that brings the power back to us to decide, since this person is going to be our employee. And it also means that nobody besides the city administrator can spend less than $30,000 without permission. Would that cover and fix everything? Would everybody feel comfortable with that? Am I missing anything?
So just that one sentence, starting with all such expenditures under Part 5 would be removed? Or would it have to be replaced with something?
Oh, if you're going to remove that sentence, I would also suggest removing the mayor from the previous sentence, because you have the ability to delegate spending to the mayor there.
I'm fine with removing what needs to be removed to make it okay.
Mayor?
Yes, David. Betsy, are you?
Yeah,
Okay,
yes, thank you.
David.
I will again go back to the very first sentence under the amendment memo. This is adding recruiting services to the definition of professional services to allow the board of directors to engage such services for the purpose of hiring an administrator. That's all we need to be doing, and that's all we were supposed to be doing. That's what needed to be done, and that's what we were told by the attorney. That's what needed to be done. But, and this has nothing to do, I mean, I just said a moment ago, our interim city administrator has already taken herself out of the equation, and I was told, but we're talking about future administrator. Well, I'm talking the same thing. I have nothing, I would trust Judy much, much more than so many people, so this has nothing to do with Judy. I'm saying future mayors down the road. I saw 2 administrators ago get power, board responsibilities by state law handed to him over and over and over, and the job expanded and expanded and expanded beyond what was supposed to be by state law, and it was coordinated. I don't want to see the mayor designated job is to run the meetings, veto if it needs to be done, and martial law, the mayor's in charge. And so to be saying, well, the mayor is the one that needs to, no. Our board has already been involved and is the one that is making the decision on hiring the firm. So I don't understand why there has to be all of these long definitions and why we can't just keep it simple of just adding recruiting services to the current ordinance.
There doesn't, and you can.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, Lisa.
Let me just finish.
David.
This is not as if the city administrator is going to be involved in deciding the follow-up administrator in any shape, form, or fashion. This has to do with the city administrator being responsible for bringing professional service companies to this board to choose, to hire, to okay a contract. The city administrator, interim, whatever, that would be involved in being a point person for I'll just say it, everybody calls them the headhunter, the recruiting firm, has nothing to do with who that firm brings to the board for, it's a funnel to bring the information to the board, which is how it's been on attorneys and accountants and insurance. And this is really no different. So I think it just needs to be very simple and just add recruiting service to the definition of what we have now.
Thank you. Lisa?
So David, I have some questions from that. I'm just asking because I want clarification. So whenever a city employee brings us insurance, they've already went through the insurance companies, they know the insurance companies, and they bring us one. If we're getting an RFQ out and we're getting multiple companies replying, I guess, to the RFQ, who are you saying is going to make that selection? Are we, as board of directors, going to go through every RFQ and then we are going to narrow it down to our final, or are you expecting that an employee will bring us what one they want?
I thought that we had already said we were going to be deciding that we had an RFQ that, or a definition of an RFQ that would go out that we were supposed to decide, and that once the applications from the companies come into the city as to wanting the job, that this board would make that decision. Yes, that's what's been talked.
Okay, so I have a question for you then. So if that is a conversation, is that an executive session or a public meeting for us to go through the RFQs?
I don't believe it would qualify for an executive session because it doesn't deal specifically with a personnel issue with an employee.
A specific employee, and that's what I thought.
Right.
So we'd have to have a special meeting to just discuss the RFQs, the pros and cons, and which one we choose. Or, I mean, I'd hate to do it during that.
We're hearing double standards here because it's like, if we're going to do it with the mayor because the city administrator can't be involved, but the city administrator position is something we can't talk about in executive session. I thought that was the point of executive session, that we are allowed to discuss anything to do with hiring and firing and evaluating and all the other definitions that are involved in executive session.
Was that a question?
No, an observation to Lisa.
It's my opinion, Lisa, that in that case, you would actually be discussing the firms, not the position of city administrator. So I don't believe that would be an acceptable topic for an executive session.
So, Madam Mayor, so we can't, like, even, let's say, because the city clerk's been the one gathering it, let's say she gets the top 3 companies, we can't discuss them in executive session?
No, I think you'd have to discuss, they would be presented to you as a board in a normal session, and you would work on those like you would a contract. I don't, because this firm is not an employee of the city,
Right.
I don't believe it can be a topic, the discussion of those firms, I don't believe is a proper topic for an executive session.
So then once we decide on a firm, then anything they bring to us, then we can discuss it in an executive session because that's specific to a person.
Hiring an employee,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, Lisa.
I'll just say, I'm open to discussing them in public. It doesn't bother me to go through and evaluate them and then come out in the public and say, this is who I have no issue with that. But whatever the rest of the directors, I'm willing to work with.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Mindy.
And that really wouldn't be that much different than us publicly discussing the screening committee last time. And that was individual names. That wasn't, nameless agencies. But I want to ask Director Burns a question. I want you to elaborate on, I think I heard you say, we had a process when you were on the board hiring an administrator, and it seemed to work, and that administrator was, what process are you referring to there? Was it the process that doesn't include any changes, or did I misunderstand what you were saying? Are we overcomplicating things?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Brad?
I was trying to read Mindy's mind there.
I'm done.
It's my humble experience, and it's real simple. I'll go back to David Cameron. I was a city employee. They had a process. It worked. He's now the city administrator of Springfield, Missouri. He served us well. The only process I've been a part of is with Philip Patterson. He lasted 8 years. I'm going by service record, not how the board feels. People that have served need a certain amount of respect, right? Alan Gilbert served. It went through that process, right? So it doesn't really matter that process provided us adequate city administrators for whatever period of time that was. We are changing that process. And so it's going to get a little complicated. And I'm all about transparency. I think it's pretty obvious. So we're gonna, but once we get to that road, do I think there's a simpler format? Yes, but I think we've had a discussion that we weren't happy with the last result, and that's what brought us to here, right?
So the
And
change is the agency, using an agency.
So from my standpoint, I just clearly stated, I think the last process worked. But this is the process the board has decided to go down, and I
You
will.
mean the process for you,
Yeah, the last
not the
process.
last one, but
Well, I wasn't a part of that.
That's what I'm saying.
So, yeah, my only experiences with Philip Patterson, that hiring process, I thought it worked. It lasted 8 years. That's my experience. And, but we've chose to go another route, and my clear statement is I'll be submissive to the wishes of the board. It's getting a little complicated, but when you change stuff, you're gonna have to work through it. So I'm quiet because you guys are working through this process to get to where we're going.
I think Mindy was wanting to know what was the process?
The process was, I have total faith in elected officials. I could disagree with you when we vote up or down, but when I leave here, I leave it here. I'm doing city business. I trust the mayor, and we're a city admin form of government. The mayor's elected. Sometimes they last a long time. And, and sometimes that's just our history. Once you're voted in, right, that's our history on this board. If I would have ran for a third term of Ward 2, I ran unopposed the second time, people just assumed you're just gonna keep running. Life never changes, but life does change and your plans change. So how it worked is we gave that responsibility to the mayor. We sent out through every publication known to mankind that I'm aware of legally, the city administrator and what the requirements were for that position. And then the mayor formed a board or a committee, and that went through a selection process. And it was a diverse, it's public record, it's a very cross-section of the community. And then they brought to us candidates, and then we started with Zoom meetings and went through a process and worked through that and got to a couple of finals. And then that's how we hired the city administrator. Times are changing. I have to be aware of that too. I have to change. And trust me, on month 9, I'm struggling not being the Ward 2 guy on my first year on the board, right? So I'm just making observations, clearly observations. I think what does need to change is our requirements for the city administrator. And so for the record, what I submitted to the acting city administrator on those was simply ICMA guidelines, and that they eventually have the qualifications of a city administrator. It's a national guideline, international guideline, And then that person, within X number of years of getting on board, becomes certified city administrator under ICMA. That falls under AML. We're members of AML. And Director Wallace had brought up this before. The only one in the state of a city admin, there's not very many of us, is Fort Smith. He's the only person I saw on the list. So that gives us, that's the qualifications. I mean, it's out there. We're not reinventing the wheel. Having said that, times are changing, and this is the route we're looking at, and I have no input on this route whatsoever. I'm submissive. I think I said that earlier.
This is a route we started discussing very quickly in response to what transpired based on the way. So maybe we're overcomplicating. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there, and thank you, Brad. I just wanted to have a refresher on, we don't need to reinvent the wheel just for the sake of change happens, but change doesn't have to happen for the sake of change. Change needs to happen for the sake of a need. So is there a need? And there may be.
Well, Madam Mayor, I just want to be clear. I was not on the board when the last city administrator was on board, and when Patterson was moved on, and when Alan Gilbert came on board. So I'm coming on the back end of all that, and that's just my observation. Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Betsy?
So am I hearing, are we rethinking whether we want to use?
I'm just asking.
No, I understand, and I think that's a good question, and maybe that's what we need to make sure that we all do want to use a headhunter or whatever it's called. Or do we want to go back to the way it's done before?
Now, there's nothing that says you have to do a recruiter.
Right.
I mean, y'all are, it's up to you whether you want to do that or whether you want to go back to the process that's already in place. Yes.
I would like to say for the public, it was discussed when we all agreed that we wanted to go with the headhunter. That's why we're here where we're at. It's not that we were trying to change anything. So to catch you up, it was a conversation that we go with the headhunter. And I see the pros and cons of both sides. I think it takes out, if you hire a headhunter, you take out the personal feelings, and it's all based off of facts. So the headhunter looks at the candidates based off facts and not, do we know this person, do we, and
Qualifications.
it's based only off of qualifications. But then there's a side to it that the people in our community know what our community wants. They know what's best for our community. So I see it either way, so.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, David?
I agree with Director Rissler. It takes the emotion out of it. It takes the personal out of it now, if we were, 150,000 population city, it'd be a different story. We're a small town. So many people know each other, and the last process was flawed. We, as a board, did not get to spend enough time with each candidate. That's where the flaw was, is that, 3 hours, I think, max was the interview time, and that just was not enough time to really get to. And in hindsight, we should have been able to go to the dinner. I know we were told by staff that, well, we can't because it's a public, so what? So what if it's a public meeting? So what if we invite Mark Hyatt to come eat? You get a better sense of the person in an informal environment. And I know, Judy, you saw a lot more because you let us know in our meetings. we all should have had, because the 2 to 3 hour interview time is just not enough time for us to see the factors involved in each person. And so that's why I think we've said, let's try a different option completely, because I don't think we've had a headhunter firm, a personnel selection firm come in. But again, I think, especially because our city administrator has said she is not applying, that you funnel it through her or her designee, which could be the HR person. We then all are, I mean, we're all the ones making the decision anyway. I think we are going to need to see, we were sending it to, didn't you count 50 or was it more firms on the AML list of recruiting firms? But we're not going to get 50 companies send in an application for us to look at hiring them. So I think we all can give our input once we're going to have to do a deadline as to we're no longer taking any applications for that position or for hiring the firm. But once that comes in, we all get copies and we meet in executive and say, all right, this is the meeting we're going to, not in executive, but in this boardroom, and we give our input as to what we think is the best firm. And at that point, if we want to have the mayor be the one we go to and say, these are who I think, this is the top one, and then she allows the clerk to summarize, and then we all, you know, you could do it by the majority. If there's one certain firm that the majority likes, then that's who we go with. So I just think this is too important of a position to not have a professional firm that this is all they do. And they have their fingers across the country on how to tap the talent that's out there. And so that's my input.
And Mayor,
Yes, Lisa.
I do want to remind the public and the directors and staff that it's budget time, and we're going to be spending a lot of time on budget, and there's a lot of discussion with the current state of our city. We need to have some in-depth conversation. So are we going to have time with our private lives, with our board of directors hats, to do budget and to go through this interview process? Because it was almost like a full-time job last time. So we do need to keep that in mind.
Madam Mayor, so you're suggesting that that would be a reason for a headhunter? Yeah.
At this time, because there are some conversations we need to have on the budget, dire conversations that we need to have on.
Well, I think that's why you want a headhunter.
Ken?
I'm just going to throw my opinion out there. One, we all agreed that we would go through a headhunter. And so to me, I'm a little disappointed and we're having this discussion again. I don't think it's necessary because we've had at least 2 opportunities to change our mind and we didn't do it. Now, I tend for myself to be somewhat like David. I like things simple. But at the same time, I do appreciate the work that was put in. We have to be careful. I understand that. We have to protect the city. I like the fact that whoever the current or future administrator may be, that they are removed from the equation. I don't think that, that really should come into play as we or a future board picks a firm if they choose to go that route. And I also like, I'm not as hung up on the mayor. I think adding, if we're going to leave mayor in there, adding head of HR, however we're going to phrase that, designee, or take the mayor out. I mean, yeah, whatever everybody else feels comfortable with. And I think a little more clarity maybe on the spending limit. I too, again, I know Judy wouldn't do this, but down the road, I mean, that to me should not come into play. That should rest with the board and not even be referenced in the contract or in the ordinance, I'm sorry. That all being said, cleaning up the language to that point, I don't, yeah, that's a lot, but I don't see that it's detrimental to the process. So, you know, I know we all want to agree, we all want to be happy with what we have, but those are just, as I sit here and listen to us going back and forth, those seem to be the major issues that I've heard. And I agree with Brad. We need to move forward, and I certainly would not want to back up and debate again, do we or do we not want a headhunter? I just think, yes, as Lisa points out, time is going to get away from us. There's just so much, we're getting into that time of year. There's just so many things going on. So I think at least that part of it, we should not even be discussing, because we've had that at least 2 meetings, and just move forward from there. And
Madam Mayor.
Yes,
In
Heather.
an effort to try to get this done tonight, to address Director Allen's concerns, what if we just omit paragraph 5 and
Section 1, paragraph 5, is that right? Okay.
5.
Yep.
rename paragraph 6, paragraph 5, and just declare that department head engineering and professional vacancies, employment and recruitment firms shall be declared a professional service herein for the sole purpose of assisting, strike the city administrator, assisting in the employment, recruitment, or evaluation of any department head, leave the remaining part of paragraph 6 as it is, and then add an exclusion for city administrator not being involved in the selection of a firm for the city administrator position. Delegate that to HR or whoever you choose.
Madam Mayor, actually, that was what I was going to say. Why don't we say designee of the board? And then the board can be like, the HR director's great, the whoever, yeah. And that way, we don't have to decide anything right now.
There's no spending authority. That could still run through the city administrator to execute a contract, I suppose. And I think under section 2, you could just strike subsection C.
Just take out, right, yeah. On 2, take out paragraph C.
So that very last paragraph on the second page, paragraph C.
So we don't need somebody to go through, I thought that was the part where we were going to say we would designate somebody, but we don't need that?
Well, I thought we were adding that to the end of what is now paragraph 6.
Okay, okay, that's fine. Yeah, no, that's good. I just got a little confused. I'm great with that.
And paragraph B
Probably
always
need to write this
also-
down.
Yeah. It also says when a contract for professional services exceeds the bid limitation, that the evaluation of qualifications will be made by the city administrator with the approval of the board of directors, so it still keeps that within the same.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
for the sake of going ahead and getting this done tonight, could we go into executive session, handle our business, and have this retyped so that we know what we're voting on before we vote on it, and maybe vote on it right after our executive session?
I think you could do that. You could table it for a minute, go into executive session,
printed.
and then bring it off the table.
Yep. Can we have it printed?
Yeah, a printed copy.
Somebody can do that.
That
I
way
can't do that.
we know what we're seeing.
And you have the only printer?
I would also have to have permission from the board to be in my office during executive session, which is across the hall.
I thought that,
Can you hear through those walls
yeah,
or something?
I thought Janae was going to make the,
Her office is that way.
yeah, and her office is out in the hallway, so,
Yeah.
yes. Then
Or
you
we
all
could-
can use,
Or we could have
Janae's-
executive in a different
Janae.
place if we had.
Director Allen, I just want to make sure that we've got your.
I got
So let me,
a
well,
little
no, let me know
confused,
what the
but-
language should say, so I can have it, we can get it done. That's what I'm asking.
well, I think if you're removing, if I understand right, David, if we remove that paragraph 5 and we revised paragraph 6 under section 1, and then under section 2, we're going to do away with that item C, that we've kind of addressed all of those areas that
You say you're inserting HR director or not?
I think we're going to do that.
Designee of the board?
Yeah.
Is that language okay?
Yeah,
I think that's safer.
at the direction, yeah. So that leaves it totally in your hands, how you want, whenever the time comes, how you want to direct that to be done. Is that correct, Heather, by what we're doing?
Yes.
Is I'm stating that right? Okay.
Are you all going to be able to do this if we're in that room? Or do we need to move our executive session?
Janae's office.
No, they're going to do it in Janae's office,
Oh, okay.
which her office is now here in the hallway.
Okay. Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we table this very short term.
Okay? Till after executive
Yeah,
session?
until after executive, yeah.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Wiles,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Rissler,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Motion to table is approved. With that, we'll move to the administrator's report. Christina?
So for the administrator's report, under expenditures, there are no expenditures in excess of $30,000, nor are there any expenditures, hold on just a second, per Resolution 11-25. Our sanitation team is continuing their cracked bin replacement program through September. So please check the website to see when your recycle bin can be replaced for free. You set them out on Friday in the week designated for your ward, and they'll replace them. Also, September is library card sign-up month. So if you don't already have a card, it's a great time to stop by and see the library and what resources they have to offer. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So with that, we will move to our director's reports. And David, I'll begin with you. Mindy, we'll end with you, and just don't ask for dismissal.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Yes.
I want to say congratulations to our new city engineer, Brent O'Neill, coming here from Texas. Welcome back to paradise. And we appreciate the long process that it took. And we appreciate staff handling that. Thank you, Alma, for bringing your concerns. They're genuine on traffic problems at the one-way street. And I know as much as you're there, you've seen it all. And you're probably the only person who's seen enough to give advice, so we appreciate you coming here tonight. Congrats to Chip Pollard for the service award, service above self. And I think that's all. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, David. Brad?
The placemaking grant is underway, and I was in a Zoom meeting on 9/11 at 4 in the afternoon, and they are not changing the green color that is on every piece of metal we have in our parks, which, by the way, it is a cedar green. So if you're worried about the green color changing, it will not change. 9/12, the chamber, they had a golf tournament out of our city golf course, and so it is an amenity that costs money, but it is an amenity that brings in revenue, and it is good to see them back out there. That same day, we had a United States Adventure Racing Association. They covered 30 hours, 150 miles, started in Bentonville. If you went down Chautauqua Amphitheater, was this transition area there. They were running around with headlamps all through town. That to me is ecotourism, and I think that's the beginning. You're going to see a little bit more of that coming on board. It was good to see them around. Along those lines, Saturday, October 4th, from 09 to 17:30, so that would be 5:30 for normal people. But anyway, they're having the Waukesha Fest. And so there's a big push now, not a big push, a renewal of trying to get all these outdoor activities, and we are in the center hub to take advantage of that and to get some tax revenues, and places like Park House and other places that are opening up. And not only downtown, it makes the corridor thrive. So we have empty buildings out there, and it would be good to see some fresh numbers coming into town that are really enjoying our amenities. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Reed?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Monday, 9/22, first day of fall. Okay, I'll be excited if you all aren't. Looking forward to it. We have homegrown coming up here, I think October the 4th. That's a neat deal with our community. I want to give a shout out to the street department and all that's being done out for the bird streets. They're looking really good. It's good to see how we have kind of found our what is in our wheelhouse, what we do best, and how we can serve our city the best. And then if it's something that's not in our wheelhouse, we can hire that part out. But I think we're honing in on that. It's good to see. And I don't have anything about frogs or anything, Ken, but fall's coming, so I'm ready for it. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Reed. And Lisa, before Christina, am I correct that October the 4th is also the Spring to Spring?
That is correct.
Yes, so you want to tell us a little bit about that?
So Spring to Spring is a new event that will be starting this year, and it will start in Sulphur Springs and end in Siloam Springs. And what it is it is a opportunity to ride your bike partly on 59, but mostly off 59 through all the cities down to Siloam Springs. And you can join in at any city. You can start anywhere you want. It's not a race, it's a ride. So, and then they'll be ending at the Chautauqua Amphitheater area at Memorial Springs, or I guess Twin Springs Memorial Park. And we're looking forward to that a lot. Actually, Travis is working on plans to welcome them all as they arrive. The Homegrown Festival will be going on at the same time. So it should be interesting.
Yeah,
Madam Mayor,
absolutely.
I had
Yes.
one thing I meant to tell you. I don't know if everybody saw the article about the original pool of Siloam was recently discovered in Israel. And 3,700 years old. and it is our namesake, where Jesus Christ told the man to go and bathe in the pool of Siloam. So they found it, and it was just very interesting to read the story and how that part of the Bible has been found. And that's what Siloam Springs is named from. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Lisa.
Alma, thank you for bringing that up, and you said that most of us that live here remember that's a one-way street. Not me. I never remember, and so, yeah, it might be good to have signs there for people like me that forget.
She's the problem.
What?
Nothing.
I want to remind everybody, the Benton County Fair starts September 19th, this Friday, September 19th, and goes to the 26th. And if you want to support agriculture, you go to the Benton County Fair and there's a lot to do with family activities. So that's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Betsy?
Like the others said, thank you, Emma, for bringing that up. I saw it, I had an email, but I was out of town until right before the board meeting. I do think we need to make it clear that it's a one-way street, so I don't know if there's something staff can be directed to do to make it more clear. Yeah, so would that be streets, or
I
can
can
you
have a
look into
discussion with
that?
Dennis and find out what we can do.
Okay.
To make sure we are clearly marking that.
Right, thank you. And then it's still, there's always going to be somebody who's going to go the wrong way. But if it's clearly marked, hopefully that will cut down on some of the issues. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Ken?
Last week, a handful of us went to Hot Springs to watch Jason accept the award for Municipal Recycler of the Year. And Reed pointed out, there are 500 cities in the state of Arkansas, and we were number one. And it was really good to be singled out. And number one, Jason, he was beaming because he is such a part of his life, and it was really good to be there and to represent the city and experience that. So thank you to sanitation for all that they do, and congratulations as well. It was well deserved. Reed, I will be as excited as you are that fall is here. I'm somewhat disappointed I can't wear my flannel just yet, but I know it's coming. So I'm eagerly anticipating. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mindy?
You can wear your flannel. You can wear your
You wouldn't
flannel
sit there very long
anytime.
if I did.
Just might get a little warm for the next few weeks.
A little musky.
Just for the record, we absolutely did agree as a committee that we would pursue a recruitment agency for this next city administrator. And we made that decision early on when I brought up wanting to know how the process had been done in the past, and the possibility that maybe we had gotten to where we were overcomplicating things a little bit. It was because when we made that decision, we didn't know all that was going to be involved in having to change ordinances. And so when that came about tonight, it seemed like, well, it was worth asking. It was worth asking, but in no way was I suggesting that we change, because yes, we did all agree. So I just wanted to get that on the record. Also, I agree. Thank you, Alma, for coming tonight. Another, just for the record, I did respond right away. I try to always respond, but I just happened to see it. It's not always that quick that I respond as much as I would like to. So just happened to see it when it came in. But it was my understanding when we were talking about the deck that we did have some plans. So if we could go back and revisit those plans, because I think those were going to help take care of that issue.
Say that again, because I was writing.
Oh, and and it's not even.
Okay, sorry.
You don't have to be involved in it, Heather, unless you have a solution that will work just right away. You can definitely be involved. No, I was talking to Christina more. We had some plans sort of in place. I think Kevin had some ideas, maybe Chris had some ideas. So if we can go back and look at those and then just make sure we get them implemented. Alma said, a lot of people come in from out of town that don't know that's a one-way street. I think there's a lot of people from in town that didn't know that was a one-way street for a long time. So it's not just out-of-town people. It's wide in one area. So especially if you're coming from the other side, not from University, it just looks like it's a two-way there. So yeah, it's kind of a confusing area. Thank you, David, for mentioning congratulations to Chip and Carrie Pollard. I echo that. Well-deserving. And even though I had to abstain from the vote, I think I can say that I do appreciate JBU for being willing to listen to the neighbors and do some things differently. That's where I work. I'm proud of where I work, and I just appreciated that. I wanted to mention that. So
It's good to come together to help that. That
it
was
was.
good today.
It was. Yes, it's always good to see coming together. So I move that we go into executive session.
Second.
Yes, we need to state the reason. Yeah, so.
I move to let the mayor state the reason for going into executive session.
So I will ask for a motion to go into executive session to consider the employment, appointment, promotion, demotion, disciplining, or resignation of an employee. We have a motion.
Second.
And we have a second. Roll call.
Hunt,
Yes.
Rissler,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Wiles.
Yes.
Motion is approved. We will adjourn into executive session, and upon return, we'll announce any decisions that might be made or need to have a vote. Call back to order this Board of Directors meeting after our executive session. Excuse me. The first thing that I need to announce is that the board did decide to make some organizational changes as we prepare for the new administrator to be hired. So moving forward, they have instructed Christina how they would like that to be handled. The next thing is that we are now looking at Ordinance 25-33, which we had asked for amendments to be made to that. You all do have a copy of that ordinance in front of you. So the first thing I would ask is, do I have a motion to accept Ordinance 25-33 as revised?
So moved.
Second.
The revisions, maybe I should put it that way.
I just have one change.
Okay.
Well, number 5 now, the heading should probably include city administrator as part of it. And I think Heather agreed with that.
When I added that, I didn't add it to the title.
So whenever she.
So that it says city administrator, department head, engineering, and professional vacancies.
We're amending the amending.
Okay.
Scrivener's
That's fine. It's a Scrivener's error. We'll just-
Scrivener's
yeah,
error.
Yeah. We'll make sure that change is put in there whenever we actually get ready
Okay,
for
just
the
wanted to
ordinance
make
to be
sure everyone
signed.
knew that was minor, but.
All right.
Forget
So,
Becky Woody, T.
I will just then ask for a motion to approve the amendments that have been made to Ordinance 25-33, including the city administrator added to
Number 5.
section.
Number 5 header.
Number 5, okay.
Yeah.
So moved.
So moved. We have a second, and David is a second. Roll call.
Rissler,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Wiles,
Yes.
Hunt.
Yes.
Motion is approved, and with that, I will ask for a motion to place ordinance 25-33 as amended on its first, second, and third reading, suspending the rules and reading by title only.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Rissler,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Wiles,
Yes.
Hunt.
Yes. Motion is approved. Christina?
Ordinance number 25-33, an ordinance amending certain sections within Article 6 of Chapter 2 of the Siloam Springs Municipal Code regarding purchases and sales.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion, we adopt ordinance 25-33.
Thank you.
And emergency. Do we have to do emergency?
Separate. We have to adopt it first. So I have a motion and a second to adopt. Roll call.
Allen,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Wiles,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Rissler.
Yes. Do I have a motion to place the emergency clause on this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Carroll,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Wiles,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Rissler,
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. This will go into effect immediately.
Madam Mayor, I make a
Yes.
motion, we adjourn.
Second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Thank you. We are adjourned.
Friday.